And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers.
Yeah. Now we really getting it
There
cracking.
we go. See,
That's
look,
what I'm talking
we
about.
got multiple guests today, y'all. We got multiple guests today. I'm your humble host, Brandon. That's my man, honey grand, set it off, Chris. And y'all, right here, we got y'all. When I tell you this collaboration has been a long time coming because
Right.
this is my dog, my homie G. I have a horrible memory, but I remember when our mutual connection, Bachelor Body. Shout out to the GOAT. Introduced
GOAT.
to me. Aisha, tell the people who you are, what you do, and how you do it.
Well, yeah, I was just getting started when y'all was kind of getting started, and
Mhm.
so our collaboration was one of my first ones. It meant a lot to me because I was very new to the space, so people were still
Same.
like, "Who is this bald headed lady? We never seen her before." But you guys were
Not bald
so
headed.
it didn't take long for y'all to respect the fact that I, was capable and for y'all to pour into that. I am an analyst for the Dallas Cowboys. I also do some work with the Houston Texans now.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that.
I
Dope.
specialize in draft and film evaluation, so that's kind of the gist of what I do. We have an all women's podcast on DallasCowboys.com called Girls Talk Boys Talk that I thoroughly enjoy. So during the season, I think we're gonna be running at 9 a.m. Central, if I'm not mistaken. But that is what I do. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, and it's weird that we connected, but we just gonna go. Like, where do y'all even live?
Oh, me and Chris from Virginia.
No,
Me
whoa,
and
whoa,
Chris
whoa,
is
whoa,
in
whoa, whoa,
Virginia.
whoa, whoa.
Oh, what?
Whoa,
Here we
whoa,
go, man.
whoa.
Go ahead,
Here
Okay.
we
y'all.
go, the
Go
technicality.
ahead. Go
We
ahead.
Here we
in
go.
Virginia. We in Virginia. I'm from Charlotte. I always like to let people know that. I got transplanted here. United States Navy put me in the vortex in 1999, and I've been trying to get out. And I'll be getting out of here in 2026, going back to
How did I
Charlotte.
not know you were a veteran?
Oh yeah,
I mean, because
y'all have that
yeah,
mutual.
I am.
So
That's a
shout
big
out to y'all,
deal. We're
sir.
gonna have
Yeah,
to talk. We're gonna
no
have to
doubt,
talk.
no doubt. Love standing on the wall. Thank you for your service for standing on the wall, without
Of
question.
course.
Yeah,
Of course.
but let's
You
let's be a
too.
let's be a veteran about these Dallas Cowboys right here.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
get
So
talk
let's
some
get
football.
let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Aisha, like you said, you are an analyst for the Cowboys. A draft school graduate, by the way. A draft school graduate, by the way. I hope one day you put that diploma up on the wall behind you. And you
Mhm.
also do, Girls Talk, Boys Talk with Nicole Hutchinson, Brianna Ulrich, Justin Navarez,
Mhm.
sponsored by Invisalign, by the way. So if they ever want to, give your boys, a sponsorship, I have great teeth.
Yeah, please.
But
That's what's up. Yeah.
in your time where you've gotten to work with those also incredible ladies, what would you say are some of the biggest storylines as the Cowboys prepare to pack up those buses, pack up those 18 wheelers, and drive halfway across the country to Oxnard, California?
The biggest storyline, well, I'll say one of them is what this cornerback room is going to look like. I
Man.
think that's probably one of the biggest things on people's minds because when you look at the defense, you're kind of comfortable with the safeties.
Mhm.
You think you can improve some spaces, maybe, but
Mhm.
you're pretty cool with the safeties. The linebacker core seems like it's gonna be okay from what I've seen from why is it slipping me? Oh, Sanborn,
Right.
Maris
Yes.
Leofau, and Murray. I think you have a solid linebacker room. And if you get
Mhm.
overshown back later in the season, then you cooking with some gas.
Right.
And then the defensive line, obviously DT is that kind of whatever one, but the defensive ends and stuff, you feel kind of confident about their
Yes.
ability and what they're going to be able to bring. That
Right.
corner position, though, is in such a weird place because you're waiting on Savon Ravel, which
Mhm.
I will say, from what I know, it does sound like he should be a go for Kim. And
Mhm.
I think that's a big deal. And obviously, Trayvon Diggs still trying to come back from injury as well. It's really put you in this weird spot. And the loss of Jordan Lewis that I think is very understated.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
that cornerback room, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I think that's to me, one of the biggest storylines that people are looking out for. What about you, gentlemen?
Chris,
Well,
what do you
we
think?
were talking. Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and we were basically saying that the floor is very fragile, but the ceiling is immense. So
Yeah.
you're looking at, if you're going to start, if we had to go play a football game today, you're going to look at, I want to put Elam outside because he's been a camp darling in OTAs. I love Bland in the slot. I think he was, he had the record-breaking year as with the 6 interceptions, 6 touchdowns 2 years ago, year before. But so now you're saying, who do I put outside on the other side? Why I wait for Butler, Diggs, and Ravel to get back to give me stability. So I feel like same way you feel like. If I can get through my first 10 weeks, which is a lot of weeks, with these three, and I know. Hey, listen, I understand. We sprinkling pixie ducks and hopes and everything, crossing our fingers and toes. But if Ravel can get there steady by week 4, that gives me a longer chance. I'm really waiting for when I can roll out Diggs, Bland, Ravel, Elam, and then Carson, and those 5 I think can take me to where I want to get to. Aisha, my goal is 19 games. I don't think we 20 games good yet. Give me the 19. Something crazy happened. We end up losing, but get to 19. So to get to 19, I need those 5 guys playing on a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And in regard to Savon Ravel, let me tell y'all, he's such an it's interesting to see him up close because he's really about the same height as Trayvon. I want to say maybe he's a tad bit taller, maybe 6'3", 6'2", I don't know, whatever. But his build is, you would think he would look lanky. He's not. He looks solid, and he's an athlete. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if he's going to be, as he transitions back in. I will say opposite of Kaiir Elam, who's been on the outside, is Israel Mukuamu. Anytime during OTAs, minicamp, the other corner that they had working the boundary was Israel Mukuamu. Now, will he? I think it depends on what happens. What I feel like is that if we see DaRon Bland in the slot a lot during camp, that's probably what it's gonna be.
And that's go ahead.
And that's okay to you. I mean, it's okay to me. I think that Izzy was a boundary corner in college, and he's capable of being a boundary corner now. And Kaiir Elam has been a pleasant surprise in OTAs and stuff like that. I want to see them be able to jam and put their hands on people and all that stuff. But I will say
that's gonna be the next thing. That's gonna be the next thing we'll be able to see. Right.
Yeah, but he seems very confident in the scheme, and his athleticism really pops out. So it's just the uncertainty. And Kalen Carson to me is kind of the wild card. And when I say that is I'm not trying to stir nothing up. I'm just saying I did not see much from him. And don't get it twisted. I was very high on Kalen Carson coming out. I still have my draft notes from him. This was a fantastic player. I thought he was a steal in the 5th. Right. However, I think between the injuries and all that stuff, we know that corner is a confidence position. And absolutely. I'm hoping this coaching staff can reestablish that confidence in him, because I didn't see it last year. Right. And I'm not sure I've seen it yet in OTAs. And so I'm really looking for him to kind of take a step, because I always thought he could be a nickel. I thought because of how he played, he's gritty. He wasn't afraid to tackle in college. Right. He could press, and you need a corner. You need a nickel corner to do all of that stuff. I don't know what his temperament is now. So he's someone you really got to keep an eye out on, because I think even how he plays could determine whether they decide to go get another guy if they need to.
And that's been the biggest thing that we've all been looking for. Oh, hey, are we going to go call Gilly, see if we're going to bring him in? Stephon Gilmore, bring him in. I think that's what I'm saying. I don't think so either. So I think what you're saying about Carson is that if he starts showing in camp, in those practices, that, hey, I'm back, or I'm getting back, rounding into that dominant, or not dominant, but just confident corner, then that helps, gives your room a little bit more depth than what you expected. You want to get it from your draft pick anyway. And going back to what your note said, he was that at Wake Forest. Didn't have a problem with pressing, going against the best corner. Came out, said, I am that guy. And got humbled a little bit, and that's no problem. But I think that's the biggest thing that we're looking at. Of all the guys you're looking at what he's going to do, because it helps you deal with this injury thing you're dealing with your two corners that you want to end up playing big snaps for you this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird position to be in. You don't. Yeah. I mean, it's weird because you taking Savon Ravel was the right thing to do.
Absolutely.
I think outside of when you watch this dude play, man, like it would be difficult to not take him in the third round. I just didn't. It made sense.
Oh, he was hands down the best player available.
That's so you can't be mad at it. We've obviously seen this team. ACLs are not career enders anymore. They're just not. Not with modern medicine and how things work. We've seen too many players bounce back. So I thought it was a smart pickup. How does he, adjust and everything? So for me, I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed and my toes crossed. But the corner position, especially the nickel corner, I'm telling y'all, like every time I see Jordan Lewis in a Jags jersey, I throw up a little bit.
I mean, but the thing about it is that I think Jordan ran the race that he was supposed to run, and I think because the NFL changed, me and Brandon were talking about this before.
Yeah.
It used to be to the point your best two corners played outside. Now your best two corners, one plays outside and the other one plays in the slot. And
Absolutely.
So because and you can thank Sean McVay for that, doing that with Cooper Kupp. Then you turn around Justin Jefferson, and then how CD works in the slot. So that's what really moved that transition. So I think if you can, where we would think before, you got to pay so much money for an outside corner. You need to pay money for the outside corner, and you better pay that slot because you're going to need that guy to play against the top receiver 85% of the game, and he's going to have to go make plays. So that's where I think for Bland, he has leverage. Well, like, listen, I'm going to be that guy. You've already drafted Ravel. Whatever y'all think of, whatever everybody else thinks, I'm not as down on Diggs as most people are, but you have got a comparable guy in Ravel that if you want to go a different direction, you can. But now you got to think about the other side. So your third best corner is probably your other outside boundary corner. Compared to in years past, your third corner was a civilian, which was your slot guy. That's
Goodbye.
No longer the issue.
The civilian is insane, Chris.
Hey, he was
Civilian is
you know,
insane.
that's somebody baby out there. That's no longer.
Oh my God. So I do feel like the cornerback room is the one that can give you an extremely high ceiling if we are able to have a rebirth of Kaiir Elam. And then Kalen Carson to possibly come about and develop into a better player. They made a lot of moves in this secondary to give us hope. Or it can go in the opposite realm where the floor is so low that it can break up underneath you. Because Kaiir Elam was a guy who didn't really realize his potential in Buffalo, and Kalen Carson is someone who had his bumps and bruises in his rookie year, and we're dealing with injuries from our star corner and our rookie. So you can go into two extremes, right?
I just don't think it was just that much with Elam of being a or you said like a rebirth. I don't think it's a rebirth for Elam. I just think it's a better situation for him. I think a different defense, some things that we're going to be able to do with him that they weren't able to do in Buffalo. So I just think it's like, hey, get me in a better environment. Buffalo's cold. My sister lives up there. I won't go visit her. That kind of stuff. So I'm that kind of cat. So I can understand how he feels. So we get him down here. He's starting to look really, really good from everything we've been hearing from OTAs. So I think the cornerback room is going to be fine.
I think that with Elam, I use the term rebirth because his issues are going to be a lot more confidence based. Buffalo, the front office said themselves, we did them a disservice in a lot of situations. They didn't put him in the best possible situations to use his skill sets. That can take away a guy's confidence, especially when he's been in the league 2 and 3 years. So he wasn't necessarily a guy who had like who was someone who got beat up early. Morris
Kalen Carson.
Well, I'm talking about
Morris came in hurt, man. First off, Morris didn't get any due service by the front office saying he's the next Deion Sanders, he's the next great cornerback.
That sucks,
right?
Chris.
So you got
sucked,
that.
Man.
So then you turn around, he coming in hurt, right? And then he's playing across from my $50 million cornerback that everybody hated, that never missed a game, and Brandon Carr, who never missed a game and played really, really well. So it was always to the point, you're this guy from LSU, you should be as good as everyone else, Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, you should be as good as those guys, and you're not. And it never worked out. Forgive me for my other daughter up here barking like you don't know nothing about
Nah, it's
football.
okay.
What are you talking
Apparently,
about? Right.
the animals
Yeah.
is announcing
Yeah,
themselves today.
that's it. So I think it's gonna be fine for Elam. I think Elam is gonna be fine.
Yeah. I think that he can come into a situation where he's not, especially once the guys that are hurt are healthy. He's not going to be looked at as having to be the guy, so he can build up his confidence again. He can be put in a situation where he can succeed.
I mean, even if he's just you just want him to hold it down and be a bridge player, and that's the thing about it is like we ain't trying to push none of these guys off of a cliff, but we are. You want the best guy out there, and so if depth players show up, if guys are surprises, good for us, good for the team. It's not one of those things for me. So yeah, corner is a bit of a question mark. I will say I'm not as stressed about it because I think Eberflus's system will allow these guys to play free and to be comfortable. It's not nearly as complex as
you must have had a bug. You must have had a bug in the room when me and Chris were talking, because you are bringing up all of the points that I have written down.
Oh, my bad.
No, I promise you that's a good thing. Great segue.
But corner. I would say corner. And what are you guys? What other positions that are things that you kind of like? I'm gonna keep an eye out on.
Aisha, I'm gonna just give you a little back. Since we haven't really talked a lot, Brandon liked to just bring out crazy stuff. So his next one is gonna talk about this linebacker room. So let me just tell you, last year when we were talking about the linebacker room, Brandon,
I was early.
He was early on it. He stood on the table. He said, "We got a problem in the linebacker room."
In June.
In June. I had the rose-colored glasses on. Oh, the linebacker room's going to be fine. Turned around, it was terrible. But this one, he hit me with today. I wanted to wait till you got on here. Go ahead and go with your little Overshown tidbit there, my friend.
Is this a make or break year for DeMarvion Overshown? Is year 3 after 2 ACL injuries make or break?
I wouldn't say it's maybe it's semantics, but I do think it's a pivotal year for him. I do believe that his ability to, because I can't think, I know you guys can probably think of players. I haven't been in the circuit too long, but I know you guys can think of guys. Like I think about a Sean Lee. I think about a guy.
There you go.
Phenomenal player.
Right.
But when health gets you, sometimes you can't run away from it. And so for Overshown, now one thing I will say about Overshown is that he's very in tune with his faith. He has a fantastic support system. His work ethic is through the roof. I don't know if I was alone last year, but seeing him every day, I would go to the draft show. I would be on my way back, and I would see him out there working. And I was telling people like, "Oh, he about to be ready, y'all. Like, he about to be ready." And he just has a presence to him that I don't think can be easily replicated. And so I've been praying for him personally.
Absolutely.
Because I think it would be, if I know for me as a fan, I would be heartbroken to not see him get to his potential, because he seems like he is special and he can change a game and he can change a defense. And so I agree with you, Brandon. I do think this is a pivotal year for him to stay healthy and to show what he's capable of, or at least, finish out the season. He played. Now, this last injury, I will say, it was fluky in a sense that he feels like he got rolled up on. He stayed healthy for the rest of the season and coming off of an ACL, so I know he's gonna work for it, and that's what gives me calmness. But you're right, Brandon. It's an important year for him, man. Like if we don't get to see him consistently, maybe the team starts not considering him in the plans because you can't rely on whether he's going to be present. And I hate that because I love him.
Yeah. I hate it. Hold on. I hate it because this is a fast league. And you can't be slower
microwave.
For sure. You can't let it pass you by, because once it does, it is very hard to catch back up. And right now it's on his heels,
Yeah.
Right now it's on his heels. I believe that Overshown's want to, and his skill level is miles above what this team could ever hope for at the position, right? Given the dynamic plays that he makes, the tackles for losses, the sacks, the chase down plays and things of that nature. But, the best ability is what? Availability. And that's going to be the thing that determines his Cowboy life. So
I hear what y'all are saying. I hear what y'all are saying,
Chris.
But what I'm telling you, he is Stephen Jones made. Let me explain to you.
No, Chris.
Hold on. Follow me. First off, he has not shown availability. From what we have right now, going to his third year, he hasn't given us 17 games. But the games he has given us, he gave us hope in a preseason game. We wanted to shut him down after the first. We wanted to shut him down. Come on.
I am weak.
First preseason game. Right. So you turn around, you get the 11 to 12 games you got from him this year. He played really, really well. The defense was very, very complex, but he flashed. Here's the reason why I tell you he's a Stephen Jones special. He turned around and made him give him 0, right? That's marketing, right? 2, he has not been healthy. That way he becomes at a discount. Stephen loves him young, talented, and cheap, right? And he loves the Dallas Cowboys, right? So he comes out this year, gives you 18, 19 games of what we expect him to do, and ticks up his game. Then you go into year 4. He stays healthy again. Then he's prime example for a franchise tag with them. You follow me? Because they don't like signing anybody early. That's the one thing we want to talk about. If they don't like signing anybody early, make football easy, you're going to see DeMario Overshown. I don't think it's a make or break year. I think once he plays and gives us that 18, 19 games that we are wanting to see him and he plays, then, he's a fan favorite now. He's always been a fan favorite.
Undeniable.
I'm about to say he's already a fan favorite.
Yeah, he's already.
I consider him an undeniable player. Like you can't not notice him when he's on the field.
Right. But the thing they're going to have over him, he hasn't stayed healthy. So they ain't going to have to pay him the big money that you should have to pay him because of the caliber player he is. Y'all follow me on that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my only thing about it. Him not being healthy has hurt him for not being able to cash in on that big deal at the end of year 4. Does that make sense?
Sure. Mazi Smith, right?
Brandon, why you gotta say everything like you a freaking talk show host? Like it's Maury.
See, I'm a professional. Right? Mazi Smith has been someone who hasn't really lived up to the expectations in his first 2 years, and Chris will tell you, I don't hold grudges. Well, excuse me. I hold grudges, but I don't judge rookies. I hold grudges, but I don't judge rookies. But I do judge sophomore players. I do. With the Cowboys seemingly having put all of their chips into the table at Mazi Smith's section of the table, do you think that he's primed for success with the defensive scheme and all of the changes that have been made, or do you think that they're going to perhaps look for more help as they get into the swing of camp?
They need to look for more help anyway. That shouldn't even be. When you talk about the defensive tackle position, specifically the nose, that position is not meant, like those guys, because of their size, they don't have motors that go all game. The good teams have a steady rotation. They let these guys get a breather, things like that. You also don't want a huge drop off when you substitute. You don't want people to see that you taking a guy out for a second and they think they can take their shot. You don't want a huge drop off. It's natural that there's going to be one, but I think the defensive tackle position is primed to have depth in the first place. So I'll start there. I will say that with Mazi, I do watching the last, I want to say 7 or 8 games of the season. You see vast improvement with his get off. You see vast improvement with his patience and playing the run. I think that he's starting to read offenses better and read offensive linemen better and making decisions. We know that this position is a slow, steady developmental position.
Right. Absolutely.
Even if he does look better this year, which I think he will, and I will say about seeing him at OTAs and minicamp, he looks fast. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But when they were doing running the oop, like he looks fluid. Like,
Right.
and he's always been an amazing athlete, but he looks comfortable in his skin. And I think
There
that
you go.
matters too. So for me, to answer your question, I would say I do think he's going to take a jump as far as improvement, because that's what you're looking for with this position. I
Mhm.
will say that I think he's comparable to Tolbert almost, in a sense, is that first year was such a wash that he's almost like a year behind.
There you go.
Because if we were
Okay.
saying this last year, if we were like,
Right.
okay, he struggled maybe the
Mhm.
first couple of weeks, but then the later half of the season,
He had that push.
improved. It would
Mhm.
feel different because we would kind of know
Yeah.
like he should be taking a pretty big step this year.
Right.
He's
Right.
almost a step behind, and that's why I think people are so unforgiving of Tolbert, because I think Tolbert, he gave you a good year last year. He did.
Right.
He did. And
But he
That
gave it.
that is touchdown leader Jalen Tolbert.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think he had 600 something yards, 7
Right.
TDs,
Yeah.
something
But
like that.
but he gave you that to you in year 3 when you were
Mhm.
expecting that in year 2.
That's
and-
my
and
point.
that's it.
So
Yep.
Mozzie's kind of in that weird place to where he almost has to make a jump and a half, I think, for fans to be cool with it. And I think that's a lot of pressure to put on him. Now, as far as the defensive tackle room, I do think, are we talking about just nose or 3 tech?
Nose.
I think we just talk about nose.
Okay, I mean, I do think that Jay Toia is
Yeah,
a
Jay,
guy.
yeah.
I remember I told this story on another show I was on, but I remember being at the Senior Bowl and talking to a couple of the scouts in the stands, and a lot of them had a lot of respect for what he could do. The
Mhm.
biggest issue with him that I understood was scouts are aware he was going to fall because how deep the class was. And
Absolutely.
it's weird because a lot of teams in the NFL, if they have a good nose, they're holding them for ransom.
Yep. Absolutely.
But it is risque. Teams that are trying to win now, they don't want to take a nose that they have to develop. But then also teams are really valuing the pass rushing defensive tackle. And
Right.
this is not what he does. I will say his footwork is a little quicker than what I thought it was going to be when I seen him in person. But true noses are kind of suffering in a sense because people want guys that can get upfield,
Right.
more or less than
Just
guys
make-
that are gonna
that-
sit
that
there
stop the
and
run.
the wall.
Right.
Yeah, people
Absolutely.
want athleticism
Mhm.
and not sometimes the stoicism that it takes to play nose tackle. So from my understanding, that was one of the reasons he fell, because I talked to a couple scouts and they thought that he was one of the best run stopping and
Right.
also to just true nose tackles in this draft. So when he fell, I was okay with it. I do think he is going to be a good rotational nose to have. I do think he's going to grow and be fine. Now, outside of that, it get a little weary, boss.
I mean, but the
Yeah.
thing you're looking, and what you're basically saying is kind of like, whereas Brandon holds grudges, I like to keep people in the GOAT status. And the GOAT status is keep him in Jeff Heath status. And see, so Jeff Heath is the GOAT to me at 25 snaps. Snap 26 and 27, he falls off a cliff.
You're
right?
sick.
Don't
You're
look out the
sick.
window because listen, we're talking about 2-year interception leading Jeff Heath, the GOAT. All right? don't do that, Brandon. I'm just saying, you gotta give Jeff Heath his due. So all I'm saying is that if you can get Mozzie at that snap count where he can balance that out. If you can look at 65 snaps, if you get him at 20, 25 snaps, 30 snaps, and then have another guy to be able to help him do that, that helps him be who he is. If you go back and look at the Eagles, you turn around and you look at Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is a two down player. But then they had the Williams kid. He came in and he was that pass rusher, get up the field guy.
And
So-
before that, they have
Right.
Fletcher Cox
They
that
have Fletcher
allowed
Cox.
that
There you
allowed
go.
them to slowly
right.
transition them into
There
getting
you
more
go.
snaps. It is negligent what the Cowboys to me have done at the nose tackle position. I don't think that this is not. There's certain positions in the NFL to me that I believe require mentorship and
It
time.
has to be. Yep.
Yeah.
And linebacker, defensive tackle, these are
Quarterback,
positions to me that you need a teacher.
Mentor.
I
Yep.
think tight end comes into there too.
Yeah, I would say
Lesser
tight
now
end.
because they're kind of like big wide receiver. You know what I'm saying?
No. I agree with you, especially like with tight ends being an extension of your offensive line and what they're asked to do and all the stuff they're asked to do. I agree.
Right.
It takes a lot of time for tight ends to get number one, get the body that they need to do what they're being asked.
Mhm.
And then also to get the time and the reps in to where they just understand the field. They have to understand the field almost as much as the quarterback does.
Absolutely.
They do.
Yep.
So
So-
I understand. Yeah.
So I think what you were saying with Jay Toya, I think Jay will be fine. Tommy, I call him Tommy Alphabet because it's so long and I can't. Yeah. I mean, because he do got a long name. Come on,
It's-
stop.
Like this.
It's a
this
Akeem
lie.
Basote. Akeem
Yeah.
Basote.
Yeah.
Alphabet.
Yeah.
Alphabet. You know what
Chris.
I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
Tommy.
easy. That's
Let's
easy.
just do it,
You can
Tommy.
just say Tommy.
There we go with Tommy.
Tommy
So,
O.
there we go, Tommy O.
Mhm.
So if you got Tommy O and Jay, they kind of get it, but you still need to go get another guy. I felt
agree.
like they could have gone and got. Everybody's been talking about it. A lot of Dallas Cowboy content creators. I'm not going to say like I had it. Going after a DJ Reader, going after someone like that to be able to be there. A Tarvin Stevenson, I think he's out there on the wire too. So I think you got to bring another guy to be able to be that help. I think at 3 tech you're fine. I think you're
Absolutely.
great with Osa. I think you're Simon Thomas. I think you're fine there, but I just do think you need depth there. Pass
Yeah.
rushers. Now, man, you got them jokers by the bucket right now.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
think you
I
have
think
no problem with
Nealon.
that.
I think we could see Nealon get some reps
Yeah,
at
at
3
three-
tech as
at 3
well,
tech.
depending on how things are. His size. I remember asking him about that. Briefly. I got to be careful because I told him I keep it a secret.
Okay.
But I remember asking him about that when he first got drafted, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, what's your size and stuff? Do you think you could play some?" And he was like, "Yeah, kind of. They kind of trying to figure it out. Whatever. It's a new
Right,
regime
right.
now, so I guess maybe I can get away with saying it. But yeah,
Yeah.
you might get to see some of him do some things at 3 tech as well. I think we should expect from what I've seen OTAs too, Maris Leofau as a blitzer at
Yeah.
times.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going on with Shamar James, but I think he could be a blitzer at times as well. He's a guy that's not super fast on film, but then when you watch, he's not fast running a 40, but you see him on film and he can come.
He's
from
football
depth.
fast. He's football fast,
absolutely.
yeah.
So, there is a need to address to get another defensive tackle. Like I would feel so much more comfortable about the 1 tech position if you had at least one more guy. And I do think the Cowboys are going to address it. I don't think you can go into the season like this. I just don't think it would be wise.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that makes sense. And we've been going back. Me and Brandon been doing this desert of getting from OTAs to getting to camp. We've been trying. Who are they gonna go get, or are they gonna make football easy? And they haven't done that. We haven't done that.
Great word right there, Chris. Speaking of easy, has Donovan Ezeraku signed his contract yet?
No.
Okay.
30 out of the 32 second round
yep.
picks have not
right.
signed
Mhm.
their contracts yet. And I
Didn't think so. I
got
got
a lot of opinions about this.
I got a reason for saying that. Donovan Ezeraku better not miss a snap because Sam Williams is right there hoping to get every snap that either Ezeraku or Nealon does not get. I was of the opinion that Sam Williams, if everybody above him doesn't perform well, Sam Williams might not even make this roster.
I'm curious to see who's going to fold first with this second round pick situation. This is a big deal across the NFL, man.
This is some collusionary type stuff that these jokers is on. And because I'm kind of in between both worlds here about talking to Cowboys and dealing with Division I football, this is some collusionary type stuff, which is great. But what they're gonna end up doing is causing the NFL to step in on a certain kind of way with this NIL money.
It's weird because my position has been for the last, I don't want to say maybe year or so, is that this is gonna be the new norm. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I want these players. I'm player first. If you don't know that about me,
absolutely.
All that.
I like that these young men are coming in here with financial literacy. I like that they're coming in here with a plan. I like that they are coming in here with business ventures outside of football. Football is not their life.
Yep.
I want them to love it, but I don't want them to be working off of survival. And
to be lost.
A lot of these players are not coming in here asking for breadcrumbs. They have felt the effects of their work already.
They have felt that they have seen their bank accounts with commas at a young age, and they expect to live this life. Okay,
and you're gonna have to incentivize them differently.
That's right.
You're gonna have to incentivize them. I said on Sky Show, you cannot just say you need money. We have the money. You go play football. No, these kids, they not going for that. You're gonna have to give them reason to want to be a part of your team and to want to be. And so this is, to me, is gonna cause a shift through coaching and how in scouting and stuff. I believe we're gonna see more former coaches become former players become coaches, because I think there's gonna be a relatability thing. Because even when I was in the military, Chris, my last couple of years, one of the biggest difference between the soldiers that came in when I came in and then is that these soldiers ask why.
Why am I doing it? It's not like, hey, go do it, then ask a question later. It's like, why am I doing it? And then I'm gonna go do it.
And that's what we're seeing with these kids. They are like, hey, this contract don't make sense to me. I don't care if it's 4.2 mil. I don't care about that. Right. I already got that in the bank. I care about the language and protecting myself. Right. I'm now a brand. I'm not just a football player.
That's right. I am a brand. That's right. I already have other things coming in from different directions. Like, okay, so as everybody on our channel already knows, my kid plays Division I football. He's at Virginia Tech, and so being to the point that he was in the last series of kids that had the uncapped money, his world was a little bit different. His world was different. He was all-state record holder in 2 different areas, and in touchdowns, yards, second in receptions, past Percy Harvins. That's always the part I love best. Past Percy Harvins and catches in high school. So I'm great about that. Yeah. So, but when the money came, it was different. And so when that happens, you go from having no money to having an absorbent amount of money, and that money hits every month. And now you're saying, I am working this as a business. So these guys, these 30 guys who have stood on the wall together with their agents and everyone else to say, we want this written a certain kind of way. We gave the kid from the Bengals hell because he didn't like the language in something. And we all understand the reason why he felt that way, because he said, if I get in any kind of situation, that voids my guaranteed money. That voiding the guaranteed money happened because of our running back, Ezekiel Elliott, messing with some wild stuff out there in them streets. And then he gets up in a situation where he gets his money voided, and it flips our whole situation with Zeke. Because Zeke was not holding out because, I don't want football. He's like, I just lost all my guaranteed money behind some stuff that wasn't even related to me. And that's what these young fellas are seeing. So it's gonna whoever doesn't cross this line, because these guys have means. I don't think, but going back to what you said about football, I don't think Izzy Izaraku has an issue with his position. Pass rushers we got. When you got Fowler, you're gonna have Micah, you're gonna have Desi. Sam is to the point he has to show I am still that caliber of guy that I can be in this rotation. If you move Nealon inside to the 3 tech, that takes down one of your chase down guys, because that's what Nealon is. He's your backside chase down guy. Now you're having another pass rusher with Sam Williams. It helps, but I don't think him signing the contract is going to be, because he loves football. He wants to be here. Yeah, he wants to play.
He wants to play, but he's not. But I do think that the majority of these guys, Brandon and Chris, I think that the majority of them are waiting to see who does what.
Right.
Because this is kind of unprecedented.
Oh yeah.
And we're not talking about it enough to me. I think this is a huge deal. We got second round picks holding out.
Holding
this
out.
Is serious. Like this will change how things work in the NFL. So anyway, I feel very strongly about this, man. I've talked about this. I'm talking about this as a Black woman.
Right. Yeah.
I want players to get what they deserve, because I understand the sacrifice. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this thing with guaranteed money, when Travis got his contract guaranteed, I was like, ooh, this gonna flip it for a whole bunch of folks. Hey, when a non-quarterback first off, we should always give love, to the great Kirk Cousins, champion at the bank. They just start getting
You're going to jail.
Hey, I'm just telling you. Hey, man, he the champion at the bank. Kirk got that guaranteed money. And
Hall of Fame at the teller. Hall of Fame at the teller.
They call him Mr. Cousins at the bank. Okay.
Y'all are sick.
But that with Travis doing that, I think that just turned the light on. They got this money to get. What these kids have realized is they got this money.
Yeah.
They've been had this money. They just been holding it back on us all this time. And because they're already slotting us already out the gate, then go ahead and guarantee what you already guaranteed that you're gonna slot me.
Yeah.
So let's take some of this language out. Let's soften some of this language to the point where we can go ahead. I can get my money, and then I'm gonna give you what I'm gonna give you out here on the field.
Well, I be telling people too, and this is my last point on it, Brandon. I know we got to move on,
Yeah,
but I be telling people like, it's sometimes I think, and it's a problem. It's a problem with these type of sports, especially with the, brute force that the NFL game is played in.
Right.
There's a dehumanizing that happens with a lot of people who are fans.
And
I most of the time tell people when I'm having these conversations with like regular people, I'm like, hey, when you get your offer letter, what you do? You read through it and you might have a lawyer look over it, huh?
Yeah.
If there's something in there that you don't like, you're not
say
signing it until it's voided, until it's fixed. And
Right.
it's no different than them. I know that this is not a conventional job to y'all, but it's an occupation. They gotta pay taxes, depending
That's
on
right.
Texas is kind of iffy. But you know what I'm saying?
A little
They gotta pay taxes. So
Right.
you can't. I care about every dime, every penny that's being taken from me. And this is this to me, this is so crazy to me when people be like, why are they not signing? I'm like, for the same reason why you wouldn't sign
You
something
would
like
sign
this.
if that for you, absolutely.
Or
That's
you would
right.
at least
Read
ask
it.
questions.
That's right.
Baby,
Yep.
get on that Reddit, something. All right, Brandon, what you got? What you got, Brandon? I know we gotta move on.
So, and by the way, I improvise everything. All right, every single subject that I've come up with, I'm coming up with it off the top of my head. So Aisha, you get the privilege of being in that building, right? You get to walk by that glass window and see.
If that's what you want to call it. Still a job.
Y'all
you
don't
know
get me
what I'm saying?
fired.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Hey, yeah, you know.
Hey, no. I
Yeah,
promise.
you know.
I promise. I'm not
check
incriminating nobody. You get to walk by and see our starting quarterback. Every day when he's throwing that ball, right?
Mhm.
Dak Prescott, of course, coming off of his injury season, he has a lot to prove.
Mhm.
What are you looking for from Dak Prescott in Oxnard?
Bro, not much, bro. Like, and I'm gonna be straight up with you. Like, I wish I could say something deep and serious and stuff. Like, one thing we never have to worry about with Dak, and that's why people say like talent can only take you so far. Like your effort and your work is what really does it. That's Dak, because he has worked to be an accurate deep ball thrower. He has worked to be able to diagnose at the line of scrimmage. He worked to gain this knowledge. This is not what he was in college at all. And so to me, I can guarantee, personally knowing him, because he's my quarterback. He was my first, like, I've watched you since college. I've watched you your rookie year all the way through. So he's my quarterback. So I know him very well. I can look at his footwork at the beginning of the game and know what time it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm watching him in OTAs and minicamp. Y'all, he looks fine. And I'm not trying to be fun. Like, I'm talking about rolling to his left, rolling to his right. He looks very fluid. You can tell that he talked about working on his mobility and stuff. You can tell that it's not clunky. It is smooth. I'm sure I really want to get with him and ask him if he's been doing any flexibility work. Because he's always been tight in the hips.
Even with that signature hip flex that he does.
Hey man, he wasn't no dancer,
that's why that's literally why he had to do the hip thing that he was doing, Brandon, because he has to activate his glutes. I don't want my quarterback being an upper body thrower, because you're gonna end up like Cam Newton. He has to engage his lower half to throw the ball downfield, and I'm glad that he recognized that in the middle of his career. So I say all that to say that he's been putting in a lot of work. I will say that there's a lot of excitement surrounding Brian Schottenheimer and this coaching staff and kind of what they're bringing in and stuff. He feels very sure of himself, and honestly, we should be. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the best version of Dak that we're gonna see is the one we seen 2 years
2
ago
years
with
ago.
the MVP race.
Right.
That is
Right.
what we should expect from him on a regular basis, and he was doing that with less,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
with
Indeed.
less.
Come on. Yeah, that's right.
Without an OC that was really scheming guys open for him and things like that. I tell people all the time, and I hate to say it, Kellen Moore was the worst and best thing for Dak Prescott, because I think that Kellen Moore and the way that he relied on the quarterback to make so many decisions
Mhm.
made Dak be able to do that. So if he's in a
Mhm.
simpler offense, he should be able to thrive. So
Right.
he looks healthy, y'all. I'm gonna be straight up with you. He looks healthy.
That's great
He
to
looks he looks refreshed, and he also just seems a lot of the guys, I'm telling y'all, a lot of the guys just seem loose and free, and everything's not as uptight. And I don't know if y'all have heard about the practices, like the music blast in all practice, which is
Right,
not
right.
normal.
Mm.
Like there's just a different vibe. It is.
Yeah.
It's just a different
Yeah.
vibe than we've seen in years. And I think the players like a Dak Prescott is
Mhm.
feeding off of it.
Yeah.
So
Do
that's what
you-
I think. I seen him. He seemed like he gonna be ready to go. I know a lot of people are like, is he gonna be ready for the start camp? I'm like, watch him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Watch him come out throwing that
My
ball
my
around.
my feeling has always been, Aisha, is that Rain has always been. See, me.
I
Brandon
know what
is
you're gonna
real
say. I know
disrespectful.
what you're gonna say. I know what you're
Brandon
gonna
is
say.
real disrespectful because he called that man, that I call him Rain because he's the king. Forrest King for me, so I let him reign.
Call
So
him Brandon.
Rain, huh?
I call him
Dak.
Dak.
I call him Rain. When you're great,
Oh.
like there's guys that I call their full name, like Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. That's how I call that man's name. Rain Dakota Prescott's how I call my quarterback. He is the ultimate hold my
Oh
beer
my
guy.
beard. I told
He's
you.
my hold my beer guy. And he's like, oh, you don't think I can? Let me go show you what I'm gonna go do. So I think him coming back slimmer, doing some different things, losing a little bit late, because he had gotten kind of heavy. You could see that in how he was running. So I think come back
Call him
slimmer.
Chucky.
Brandon, shut up, Brandon.
He was
Shut
just getting
up.
thick in these streets. He was
Oh,
getting thick.
no.
Brandon is sick.
With 2 C's?
but-
Sick.
But
With 2
hey,
C's?
not yeah, with 2 C's, chunky. But what I also but what I'm also saying, what I also said too, he did that. He had that MVP type season with one surefire guy. We're gonna talk a little bit about the other part. He now has the best semblance of having 2 great wide receivers in their prime. Because the closest he had that was a couple years back when he had Amari and he had CD coming into his own. Now he got 2 guys in his prime, but we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But Rain's gonna be fine. I don't expect anything less than what I've always known him to be, is to be great. And then when you turn around and you get his offensive line better, and he gives him more protection, especially up front in front of him, that's perfect. I still want to keep him right at about 27, 28 attempts a game.
Oh
That's
yeah.
why.
Well, we lost Chris.
Don't worry, I'm a professional. I can adjust. So Chris said that he wanted to keep Dak at like, I'll adjust to say 25 to 28 throws a game. That would be in a perfect world great. My reasoning for saying that I don't know if that'll happen is because of the status of the running back room.
What, you down on the running back room?
I believe that the running back room has to kind of work itself out. We don't have any certainty there just yet. It's not that I doubt anyone.
I agree.
It's not that I doubt anyone. I actually think that the name that nobody's really talking about, Chris, welcome back, is Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is the one that I have the most hope for, because the last time that he was in a, there we go. See, that's why you my dog. That's why you my dog.
I ain't talking about him. Go ahead, continue.
But Miles Sanders, the last time that he was in a functional organization, he was a 1,200-yard runner, almost a 1,300-yard runner. Okay, cool. Boom, let me do this, and then I'm gonna do this.
My fault, family. The boss
It's all
called.
good. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, she called.
Chris,
But-
I promise one of these days I'm gonna get. I'm Chris's IT guy. Chris,
No,
I'm gonna get your computer set up,
had-
Chris.
I had-
I'm gonna get your
I had
computer
to-
set up one of these
I
days,
did.
Chris.
I had do not disturb on.
Keep trying it.
No. I'm gonna get the computer set up for you, Chris. I'm gonna set up. I'm gonna get your TCP/IP set up. I'm gonna enable cookies. I'm gonna do all of that for you, Chris.
See, you see how he got me out here bad, but that's okay. But listen, all I'm just saying is I really believe Rain's gonna be fine.
Yes.
He's gonna be great this year. He's gonna compete at an MVP level.
Yeah.
He'll never win it because where he plays at, the team he plays for. So I'm fine with that. But as long as he gets me to my goal of 19 games, I think Rain will be fine.
Can I say something about Dak really quick?
Go right ahead.
I think one of the saddest things to me will be if Dak doesn't finish his career like at like the mountaintop, or like achieve an NFC championship or a Super Bowl, and people never really know how good of a quarterback he is. I really feel like I worry about that, because I feel like people are not even willing to concede that he's a good quarterback because of what happens with the team a lot and some of the stuff that happens. There are some people that will never look at him as a good quarterback, and that I mean, I know that that's how it is, but it just kind of sucks thinking about it sometimes. Like,
I mean,
I
I think him and Tony will never get the respect that they supposed to get because they one and the same behind the folks that are above them that won't pull the triggers to help them be great. I'm just sorry, because Tony and Rain have the same identical look. They have to be the best at all times. They got to cover up so many mistakes and so many inadequacies by the front office that when you look at it at the end of the day, hey, he played terrible in this playoff game. But you don't figure out the defense gives up 34 points and got him playing from behind the whole time. I mean,
there's no context.
I mean, there will never be a chance where they'll sit up and say, hey, this guy was great, until you look back over the road. Because I was a big, it's Tony's fault. And then when I look back, I said, man, this dude was out here putting this together with bubble gum, masking tape, just covering up so much bullshit that the front office was giving him. So I think he's great. I'm serious. Hey, listen,
bubble gum is crazy. Shut up.
Hey, Bubblicious. And I'm talking about that cheap bubble gum that your grandma give you in church that turns chalky at about 30. I'm telling you, he was doing some great stuff. You'll be hurting. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they've been doing. That's what they've been doing. So that's what I feel with that. B, talk about this thing that we were talking about earlier. We were talking about depth wise. We talked about the cornerback depth, and I know we're coming up getting kind of tight here. Let's talk about how many wide receivers we keep, right? Okay. And who's fighting, who's what we call it here, what we call Aisha, we call it tryouts. You remember in the Dark Knight, say there's a room with spot, and we call it tryouts. We breaking a pool stick, we'll see you on the outside. Who's in that fight to be wide receiver, I want to say 5?
So there's really 2 fights in this wide receiver room, right? There is the fight for wide receiver 3, which is fought by 2024 touchdown leader Jalen Tolbert and John Domingo. And then there's the fight for everybody else, which is everybody else. Now, here's the thing. You remember last year when Kalen Carson had a bunch of good snaps against guys not named CeeDee Lamb, and then we got surprised and excited and things of that nature? I don't want that to happen for the wide receivers. I don't want people to go out there. I don't want to who's somebody who always has a good season. I mean, a good
Jalen Cropper.
Jalen Cropper. Chris, that's why you my dog, Chris. I don't want Jalen Cropper to come out there and play have a great snap against Troy Pride. And then we get excited like we always do come camp, and then we have just undue praise where he gets a wide receiver spot, and he hasn't really played against anyone. But then he plays against someone with a couple stripes on their vest, and he can't succeed. So I have to see him against DaRon Bland, maybe Kyrie.
Yeah, that down the roster competition is kind of fluky because I will say Ryan Flournoy looks a tick faster. He just seems a lot more comfortable at the position. He got some twitch to him now, I wouldn't say. And another gentleman that I think we should keep your eye out on, and I have been keeping my eye out on, is Treshaun Holden. Treshaun Holden is the type that, and obviously he has the connection with Junior Adams. Sorry, my phone, my laptop. But he just every practice he makes a play. Whether that's him, we're gonna see a lot of him during the preseason and stuff because Joe Milton loves him, and he runs open to the ball. So I think he's a guy that even if he makes the practice squad, he's one of those guys that I think is you could advance. Like if you have to put like elevate him, he might stay up there depending on if he shows enough.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely got some mental maturity, discipline stuff that we all know about. We don't have to discuss it too much. But from my understanding so far, he's been really great and exemplary. So the part where it gets weird for me is a guy like, I think if you're going by talent, Ryan Flournoy should be that guy. And then maybe Treshaun Holden's on your freaking practice squad. But I will say Jalen Brooks and the special teams ability, all that stuff, he might catch a break. But I don't know. Like them having Shoddy here is helpful because they know him and he knows them. But that's just those are the guys that I see the most like out of that I want to see more of. I didn't even notice Paris Campbell at all.
I forget that he's on the roster sometimes.
Josh
because
Kelly
we
has
never
his
hear
moments,
about him.
The wide receiver out of Texas Tech, I believe. Josh Kelly has his moments, but nothing that stands out to you. Like it's just to me, it's gonna. Flournoy's gonna make some plays during camp, so don't be surprised. Treshaun Holden's gonna make some plays, and I really want to know what's gonna happen with Mingo. Because I want him to be good. I want him to step up, having Dak. But where this ball can only go so many places, like how are we going to deal with that?
I mean, the thing about it is that because you have 1A and 1B, which is, CD and Pickens, and everyone has talked about this at great detail, it really pushes everybody down, not one tick, but really 2 ticks. And because your 4th round pick is Mingo for this year, because you had to bring him in, that those first 4 guys are kind of solidified. You're going to turn around and say you're going to have, even though people are consistently upset with Tolbert, like you said, because of where he had to end up with his career, that 5th spot is going to be good. But you did make it. Holden, I heard when I was, when you guys were, you and Sky were talking about him. The way he attacks the ball, the way he gets after it, the way he's out here trying to really embarrass people, they like that. And that's the kind of mentality they want. So, we had kind of looked over Holden, B. We kind of forgot that guy was,
But
no, he would have been higher.
I always believe that their rookie guys, whether it's undrafted or they're drafted, are going to make the team in some form or fashion. Just because historically that's how they've always done.
Yeah, that's how they do things. They give guys a chance, but he's not just a chance. I think if he didn't have the field, the stuff, the discipline stuff, and some of the stuff, he would have went higher. The talent is there. I mean, you watch his film, and don't get me wrong, like he stood out on a very loaded, Oregon offense. When he touched the ball, you like, who is that?
So, I mean, if he ain't doing super stuff like spitting on people and stuff like that, he's 3rd or 4th round. Hey man, I'm just being honest with you. And that's crazy, right? Crazy. I mean, that's enough to get you strangled right there on the spot. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, but that's kind of how I'm looking at things right now. I didn't see much from any of those other guys except for Flournoy, Treshaun Holden, a couple times from Mingo.
Yeah.
And that's really about it. So keep an eye on those guys, I guess. What you got, Brandon?
Last, I believe that the one person that people really forget about that'll be involved in the offense, hopefully, is KaVontae Turpin. I have wanted to get KaVontae Turpin on the field for the last 2 years. Last offseason, I wanted to see if we can get him on as a running back. Because, just get the ball in his hands in space. I hopefully this new coaching staff finds creative ways to get the ball in his hands. And not just doing like the little jet sweep, because that's like the only tricky play that coaching staffs have known for like the past 5 years. Introduce the screen game again, do something, but get the ball into your horse's hands,
Yeah, I think one thing about Clayton Adams that he mentioned is that, they need explosive plays. And I think that this guy is one of the gentlemen that's capable of that. I will say from OTAs and minicamp, he is. And it really sucks that the Mike McCarthy regime has really gave fans so much like PTSD to where they don't even like when you say like, oh, they're doing stuff with KaVontae Turpin, you don't even believe it because like you can't even convince them. But I will say, no, a lot from my understanding, one of the biggest incentives for Cavante Turpin to re-sign here was that
Mhm.
he was going to have receiving situations. I saw him taking passes out the backfield. I saw him taking handoffs out the backfield. I saw
That's
him
excellent.
lining up in the slot and doing different things there. In a world where too high is like the new, well, it's
Do
not the
hot and
new thing, but it's
yeah,
the regular. It's
it's
basically
the
the base
it's the flavor
now.
of the month. There we go.
Exactly. You need a guy that's gonna really threaten that or
Mhm.
Mhm.
attack the middle of that. And I think
Mhm.
he is a guy that people are gonna have to respect. And the thing is, I will say I struggle with Cavante Turpin because I don't want what he does for you on offense
Mhm.
to take away what he does for you setting up your offense.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I see what you're
Because
saying.
Yeah,
Right.
when you look at Dallas,
third of the
that
game.
that's been one of the problems with the Dallas offense for quite some time now is that
Mhm.
starting field position is killed them and it's
Mhm.
improved since Turpin's got there.
Yeah.
But I
Absolutely.
don't want to hear, oh, they're taking it from the 8. I don't want to hear that. I want him to have the opportunities to set up the offense because that is
Right.
just as important to me. That
Yep.
hitting yardage is crucial.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
like, how it is going to be up to this coaching staff to figure out when it's necessary to use him. You need to put enough tape on film because you want to put enough on film so when a team sees him motioning and stuff, they get a little tight.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
can't just
Yeah.
do it every now and then. You got to
Right.
do it to where people are having to prepare for him and are threatened by him if he is going to do decoy stuff too. So
Absolutely.
from my understanding, he is going to be a lot more involved in the offense, and I'm cool with that. And it sounds like that's what y'all want to.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been a big fan of him since we got him. I've been a
I-
big fan of him since we got him.
Me too.
Do
Yeah.
you have time for one more?
Yeah.
Um, so as we know, right across the street, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from the star, we have the Cowboys' unofficial O-line coach Duke Manyweather.
Mm.
And recently he had his OL Masterminds. What would you call that? A summit.
It's like a summit, a camp,
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
a
clinic. Yeah.
meeting of the minds. Whatever you would call that. And previously, Duke had been kind of critical of the Cowboys' young player Tyler Guyton, but he's since come out and kind of I don't want to say walk back his words, but seasoned them with salt. If we gonna get a little biblical. Um, look, man, I serve a powerful God. All right,
Y'all crazy. Y'all
Just a
crazy.
little salt. Just a little salt got it, huh? Salt
yeah,
got
there
it.
we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Um, what do you think we're going to see from Tyler Guyton in Oxnard, and I guess in the season?
Um, I think we should see a more confident Tyler Guyton because from what I understand, what he and Terrence Steele specifically are
Mhm.
being asked to do are more conducive to what they do well as athletes,
Mhm.
athletic offensive linemen, and
Right.
not incredibly powerful offensive
Right.
linemen.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think the coaching staff coming in here and Connor Riley, and what he did at Kansas State, and then obviously what
Mhm.
Clayton Adams did in Arizona. You got two guys that number one know how to work with Les.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
and
Mm.
also to give a damn about player development because I think you got to give a damn about player development to understand that like, hey, we don't have enough time to work with these guys, so we probably need to be in good with the guy that
That, that
does
that
work
has
with
more
them,
time with him. That's
so
right.
that there's and he's been and we talked about this morning on Me and Sky show. He's the constant with all these coaches in and out the door and stuff like that. He's the only one that they know is going
Right.
to be there no matter what. And
Right.
Mhm.
so there needs to be some synergy in that connection. So when to your point, Brandon, when Duke was talking about like they've had conversations, it seems like the coaching staff and him are on the same page. That made me happy because I remember that there was a couple people on the previous staff and other staff that
Didn't want him.
didn't
There we
like
go.
that what they were coaching was different than what they were being told outside of there. And so
Hmm.
I think for someone like a Guyton,
Mhm.
that's a big deal. Is that they're being like it's paralleled and it's not something
Mhm.
else where he's going off course. And then also to him just having another year, I think he's gonna get the opportunity. I'm not sure. I know right tackle is important,
Mhm.
but for a right tackle to transition to left tackle, I do think that you have to understand like how much more serious the position is. And not to say right tackle is not important, but left tackle's kind of that dude.
It has always been.
Absolutely.
It's always been that
Always
guy.
that dude.
Absolutely.
And the
Always been that
lights are on you in a different way than you are a right tackle. That's why we see teams get away with not having such a good right tackle, but they left tackle be stacked.
Mhm.
So I think he also too, from listening to him, he understands what the position calls for.
Mhm.
And again, like him just building the general confidence and growing as a player. So I'm hoping he grows because I feel like he's the determining factor. When I look at Booker, I told Scott this morning, I said sometimes I forget that he's a rookie because he is one of the plug and play. You got BB coming back this year, you got Tyler Smith, and I think
Who's the guy?
He's gonna be better in this scheme.
Right.
Guy, if Guy can come on with it, you might be cooking with grease for real.
Fish grease.
Tyler Guyton's success is the difference between an 8-win season and an 11-win season, honestly. So here's the thing. I believe that Tyler Guyton had such a small sample size when he was drafted that he really didn't develop that. So when he came in and he had a coaching staff that was really kind of like halfway checked out, fighting for their football life, didn't really have much will to adjust or be patient with guys and things like that. He was moving from one side to the other. So he was somebody that already had trouble in the run game, trouble with hand placement, issues with stunts, gap exchanges, and things of that nature. He developed bad habits when he didn't really develop any good habits in the first place on a position where he had to mirror.
That's fair. Yeah, I think when you talk about the bad habits, I feel like the way I was explaining it to people is that there was just a panic with him. Like if somebody was going past him or he felt like he was just grabbing. He was just grabbing. And that type of stuff, like you got to break it early. And that's why I wasn't opposed to last year them sitting him down. I did not want to demoralize him as a player. I didn't want his confidence to be shaken. But I'm like, are you killing his confidence more by having him out there and him picking up these bad habits than you sitting him down for a second?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
And letting him, what'd you say?
I'm in the middle. I was
in the middle too. I was tired of seeing him go through that level of embarrassment to a certain degree. And so for me, I'm like, and again, to your point, it's the habits. Because like it don't take long to get them.
Right.
What you got, Chris?
Everything y'all said is spot on, but I think it goes back to my earlier point, what the front office did to him. I think he needed a year. First off, he's going at the most pivotal position, one of the most pivotal positions on the field as a left tackle. Coming from the right, going to the left. That was the first thing. You didn't give him a mentor like we talked about before with the D tackle. You didn't keep the mentor in the building. So if you would have kept Tyron Smith in the building for the 7 to 8 games, or not having him having to practice all week and then playing games and him spending time with Tyler Guyton, even though he's drafted in the first round, he gets to get that in there. So whenever guys when they first started off before early in the offseason, having them on the off team, on the number 3 and number 4 squad and doing that, instead of putting them with the ones and getting him acclimated to that, knowing what he was going to be thrown into, I just think they did him a total disservice. That was my total disservice. So I hated what they did with that. Going back to what you said about with the offensive line coaches, they have always done that. They didn't just do that at Kansas State and Arizona. Clayton was doing that in Indianapolis. He told y'all in the draft show, he said, listen, we are in the business of getting guys to do what they do well on a regular basis compared to what they don't do well and have them struggle. So going what you said about the offensive line, you're getting Terrence Steele, back 2 years removed from his ACL, so he'll be able to do what he does and work at a high level. Tyler, I always felt Tyler was going to be good year 2 and then be played to a Pro Bowl level in year 3. And now that we got a better O-line coach, I definitely think that's a huge hit for them. So I think if everything works out the way we hope to, we could be moving to that the offensive line that we saw in 2016 with the Dallas Cowboys. And if you get to that, you can have all the other pieces you have cooking. Phil Maffa being, cooking to get who he gets to be. Blue getting to the point of getting his football IQ up and working. And then you start seeing that the contract that we've already is Rain going to ever get the ability to get to that level where he can say he can be elite, all those pieces be in place. Stud wide receivers in their prime, O-line maturing to being who they're supposed to be. Your running game is working. And then now you got a great quarterback now being more cerebral and knowing exactly how to do stuff. And I think we get the best version of this football team we've all been looking for.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Aisha, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah, fun, y'all.
It's only 3 people that I talk to that's actively in that building. You know, you one of them. So when I say salute to the plug, you know, that happens at the end of some of our videos, that the people know that I got a little bit of information. I picked up my bat phone. You know, I might have put on.
I'll let the big dog. I'll let the big home. I'll let the big home.
There we go. Yeah. They might know. Okay, they can put a face to a name now.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on today. You know, of course, now that we kind of are past that drought period, you know, not gonna be the last for sure. You know,
not at all.
Gonna come on your channel. Definitely gonna make time for each other. I promise that. Take another moment, tell the people where they can find you, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Aisha Morrison. It's right there on the screen. It's with 2 eyes. It's not an L.
It's not.
Yes. Follow me there. I normally post any content I'm doing, and obviously, like I mentioned, I believe Girls Talk, Boys Talk will start back here shortly, and I'll be getting times out to y'all sooner or later. So thank y'all for having me on, guys. I really enjoyed myself.
No doubt.
Chris, take us out of here, brother.
Hey, man, listen, this is how we get down, man. We appreciate y'all always finding time in y'all life to click us on, but we want to make sure that you've been with us for 1 hour and 11 minutes. Make sure you hit that like, that share, and that subscribe. You know, it's the free currency in the internet world. You know, that's what we live on. Get us up. Listen, I'm that guy that's at the local 7-Eleven, sitting outside with a can, helping people out to be able to get where they got to get to. I'm just happy to be rocking with my man Brandon. Man, we will forever and always be Frankly Football. And until next time,
peace.